Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2022 UNHCR Nansen Refugee Award ceremony. This event is hosted jointly by the Swiss government, the State Council of the Republic and Canton of Geneva, the Administrative Council of the City of Geneva, the Government of Norway, the IKEA Foundation, and UNHCR, the UN Refugee Agency. We kindly ask you to switch off your mobile phones during the ceremony. Please refrain from taking photos and videos as it is distracting to the performers. Photos and video of the event will be made available for download on UNHCR's Refugee Media platform. The Master of Ceremony this evening is award-winning journalist and presenter Neloufar Hedayat.
Thank you. You are welcome indeed to the 2002 UNHCR Nansen Refugee Award. My name is Neloufar Hedayat, and I have the pleasure of hosting you for tonight's celebrations. I'm thrilled to actually see you all and be with you in person since the start of the 2019 global pandemic. For those of you who are tuning in on the live stream, wherever you are in the world, you're welcome here tonight. For my audience in the room, please note that there are headsets made available to you. We will provide simultaneous interpretation in both French and English. Channel 1 will get you English, and Channel 2, French. Now, tonight, I'm going to take you guys on a bit of a journey with some key stops along the way. We're going to celebrate not only 100 years of Nansen and the extraordinary work and achievements of our fantastic winners, but we'll also pay special tribute to our global laureate, the former First Chancellor for Germany, Dr. Angela Merkel. We are deeply, deeply honored to have her here with us tonight. This year, for the first time also, I'm proud to say that we have all 4 of our regional winners here with us who have traveled from all over the world, from Mauritania, Costa Rica, Myanmar, and from Iraq. They will be enriching us with their stories, with their work, and their presence on this stage. We will experience inspirational and rockin' music. Believe me, I heard them in rehearsals. They're phenomenal music from 2 separate artists who are going to be doing brilliantly today. One is from Syria and the other from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and both of them have experienced displacement themselves. I'm honored to say that we're joined in this innovative and beautiful space here at the Head, Geneva, a university for art, design, and a space where young people cultivate and hone their skills in innovation, creative thinking, and leadership. And in fact, these are the same qualities that enable Fridtjof Nansen to have such an impact in his day and that inform and animate the work of all of our winners. So, if I may just get personal for a moment. 6-year-old Neloufar would be in awe of seeing herself on stage with you tonight. She would be clapping gleefully at the winners, our global laureate, and at our keynote speaker, listening intently to the inspiring words that came from them. She would be rocking and jiving on stage to all of the beautiful music that we hear. And most of all, she would be absolutely mesmerized and honored for the privilege of standing here for the UNHCR in front of you all today. A refugee of the war in my homeland, Afghanistan, 6-year-old Neloufar would gaze at all of you, unable to believe that a girl like her, given the right amount of nourishment from this world, could realize the potential that she had and become the woman that she dreamed to be. This is the power of the work that you do. When you empower, when you innovate, and when you integrate refugees, like 6-year-old Neloufar, into the world that she grew up in, well, magic can happen. I certainly will be celebrating all of you tonight. So, What is this mission that we are celebrating? Well, since 1954, the UNHCR Nansen Refugee Award has recognized individuals, groups, and organizations who have gone above and beyond the call of duty to help displaced and stateless people. This year, the award is made very special because we want to pay tribute to Fridtjof Nansen, the man this prestigious award is named after. Now, Nansen is a celebrated Norwegian explorer, a scientist, a diplomat, and a humanitarian, and was the world's first High Commissioner for Refugees under the League of Nations. And in 2022, we mark 100 years since he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for the work he did with refugees and stateless persons. Today is also Fridtjof Nansen's 161st birthday. Let's take a moment now to celebrate the work and the legacy with this film. Now, while Nansen carried out his visionary work a century ago, much of the work that he did and much of the humanitarian issues that he faced still exist to today. Now, Nansen continues to inspire, and is an example of, he's an example of how action that is led by compassion, how courage that is underpinned by determination and informed leadership can have a profound impact on the lives of people forced to flee. Our keynote speaker knows a thing or two about this. She is a remarkable woman who has been working to support displaced people for over 3 decades. Appointed in 1987, Barbara Hendricks is UNHCR's longest-serving Goodwill Ambassador, and in 2002, she was named Honorary Lifetime Goodwill Ambassador. That is in recognition of her work, her commitment, her passionate advocacy, and her tireless campaigning. Please join me in welcoming the inimitable Barbara to the stage.
Thank you, Nilüfer. High Commissioner Grande, distinguished guests, and friends of UNHCR. I'm honored to be here tonight to celebrate our distinguished Nansen Award laureates. Dr. Angela Merkel, whose courage and leadership at the height of the Syria crisis was an example to all. And I am so happy that all of our inspiring regional laureates are also with us. In the chaotic aftermath of the First World War, Fridtjof Nansen's exceptional dedication and commitment to supporting refugees, the internally displaced, and stateless was founded on his belief that no practical politics is conceivable in a civilized world if it is not based on brotherly love. Out of the ashes and horrors of World War II, the UN General Assembly adopted on the 10th of December 1948 the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Article 14, everyone has the right to seek and to enjoy in other countries asylum from persecution. The 1951 Refugee Convention built on this fundamental right and established the UNHCR as its guardian. It defines who is a refugee, outlines their rights and the legal obligations of states to protect them and prevent involuntary forced return to a country where they may face serious threats to their life or freedom. The UNHCR leads and coordinates international action to protect and safeguard the rights and well-being of those forced to flee persecution and conflicts, those uprooted and stateless. I was born 20 days before the Declaration of Human Rights was adopted. My parents never heard of the Declaration, nor its first article that begins, "All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and in rights." But they knew all too well the Jim Crow laws of apartheid that segregated the races in America's South. I was, for all intents and purposes, born stateless in my own country. I could not benefit from the same protection under the law, nor exercise the same inalienable rights afforded under the Constitution. Growing up, I witnessed the civil rights movement initiated by the courageous Rosa Parks and led by Martin Luther King. And when the Civil Rights Act passed in 1964, after 300 years of slavery and 100 years of apartheid, I became a full citizen with rights and, most importantly, the civic duties and responsibilities that granted me my freedom. From that moment on, I decided that I would do all that I could to promote and defend human rights for all and in every circumstance. Becoming a Goodwill Ambassador 35 years ago gave me the opportunity to put into action my sincere belief that my own inner peace and peace in the world must be founded on the principles of human rights for all. In 1987, there were around 12 million refugees worldwide. Today, the number of forcibly displaced is over 100 million. Since my first mission, I have drawn much inspiration from my dedicated UNHCR colleagues in the field, who devote their lives every day, and some have even lost their lives, doing invaluable work for the refugee cause. I have drawn encouragement and humility from the many refugees whom I've met, especially the women, who together with their children represent more than 80% of all refugees. When I am feeling my most discouraged, I only need to think of them. They face nearly insurmountable difficulties and the dangers of refugee life with incredible dignity and courage. They cannot and do not give up, so neither can I. We need to all work together to overcome the daunting global challenges that we face. The international community must find the way to prevent the conflicts and persecutions that cause families to flee, and the solidarity to help them find durable, peaceful solutions. We must all open our hearts and see those in need as members of our family of humanity. I cannot look into the face of a refugee child without seeing the faces of my own children and grandchildren. The times we live in are as chaotic, uncertain, and frightening as the years between the two world wars, when Nansen showed unwavering integrity and strength. Our laureates tonight are living examples of the brotherly love that he so embodied. Their courage and perseverance lift all of humanity. Each one of us must follow their example. Together, we are strong, and we can produce a miracle that will take us from darkness to light, from weakness to strength, from injustice to justice, from war to peace, and from fear to love. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. We shall live in peace someday. Yes, we shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. Ooh, ooh, deep, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall live in peace someday. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Oh, please do take your seat right there. I will lead you right there.
No, but I have a seat.
You should do. Yes, Barbara, absolutely. There you go. I should have said, we in fact have 3 musical acts rather than 2. I'm just going to give this to you, Ben, if I may. There you go. So you can rehearse all you want, but live is live, ladies and gentlemen, that's for sure. And indeed, the time to come together, as Barbara said, is now. We need to find solutions for the 100 million people displaced by conflict, persecution, and human rights abuses all over the world. 100 million. It's a big word to say out loud. It's a lot of people. Now, onwards. And to the 2022 regional winners of the UNHCR Nansen Refugee Award, and the work that they have been doing in their communities represents so much of what Barbara spoke about. Courageous, dedicated, and inspirational. They've sought and found new ways to help and support the forcibly displaced people in their communities, hand in hand with the communities hosting them. Tonight, we're here to celebrate For Africa, the Imberia Fire Brigade, an all-volunteer firefighting group in Mauritania founded by refugees and now including host community members as well. The brigade has extinguished more than 100 bushfires and planted thousands of trees to prevent fires and to preserve the lives and livelihoods of the local environment. For the Americans, we're celebrating Visanta Gonzalez, who has served the displaced people in her community, the vulnerable people in Costa Rica, and she's been doing it for nearly 50 years. Among her many initiatives, she has established a cooperative to support refugees and host community women, including survivors of domestic violence. For Asia and the Pacific, May Ik Sway Myanmar, a humanitarian organization founded by No Bue Ku that works to strengthen the capacity for communities in need, including internally displaced people, whilst providing emergency items, healthcare, education, and livelihood opportunities. For the Middle East and North Africa, we celebrate Dr. Naram Hassan, an Iraqi gynecologist providing medical and psychological support to Yazidi girls and women who have survived, tremendous persecution, slavery, torture, and rape at the hands of extremist groups in northern Iraq. Let's hear more about them in this next video.
To do the right thing when no one is watching.
Si viene una persona agredida, pues tengo que ver cómo voy a ir a luchar con las personas.
To use your resources.
فكان مو إنه ألعب دور طبيبة ما كان كافي، لازم أحسسها بالأمان، لازم أحسسها بالثقة.
To help your community. To see a problem and run towards it.
Dès qu'on voit un feu de brousse, c'est qu'on a dans la tête seulement de sauver et protéger.
These are the values represented by the 2022 Nansen winners. 4 extraordinary stories from Iraq, Myanmar, Costa Rica, and Mauritania that deserve our recognition.
Et on a peur, on est aussi courageux.
Because one brave action can be felt around the world.
No podemos decir, no puedo, porque muchas veces dicen, no puedo. Sí, se puede.
Because one good deed can grow. There have always been heroes. This year, it is our honor to honor them.
I now invite UNI Commissioner for Refugees, Filippo Grande, to come on stage to present the regional winners with their certificates. Hi, Commissioner. Delighted to see you. So I want to start off by inviting our first recipient. Mr. Amadou Al-Bahari is representing the Imbira Fire Brigade. Please come onto the stage to receive your award. Amadou. Thank you so much. Please stand over there. Thank you, Amadou. Thank you so much. Next, we have Doña Vicenta Gonzalez. Please welcome her to the stage to receive her award. Thank you so much. Please make your way. Thank you so much. Next up, No Bue Ku representing Mae Ik Sui, Myanmar. And last, but by no means least, Dr. Naram Hassan. Please welcome her to the stage. If I might, very finally, invite all 4 of our recipients to take a group photo with the High Commissioner. Please come to the stage. Fantastic. Thank you so much. High Commissioner, winners, please make your way back to your seats. Thank you so much. Congratulations to all of you. Well done. Yes, now that I've got you all riled up and raring to go, it's time for our first musical number. It is my greatest pleasure to introduce our first performance for this evening. Syrian refugee and celebrated vocalist, Manal Saman. Tonight she'll be performing two of her favorite songs, including Dalida's Helwa-i Beladi, My Beautiful Country. Unfortunately, her drummist isn't on stage, but we have Manal, and she is perfect. Please welcome her onto the stage.
اشتقنا للشام وحواري الشام، اشتقنا للشام وحواري الشام، لبيوتها المحنية على بعضها بحنية، للناس الطيبين ورف الحمام. اشتقنا للشام وحواري الشام، اشتقنا للشام وحواري الشام، لبيوتها المحنية على بعضها بحنية، للناس الطيبين ورف الحمام. لما الماء بتنتسى طارحها الماء ونسى، لما الماء بتنتسى طارحها الماء ونسى، يا حلا لعيون اللي ببلدي، يا دفى القلوب اللي ببلدي، والياسمينات على الشرفات تلولح بالعطر البلدي، وحتعود الشام لتكون الشام عطر الأيام. لبيوتها المحنية على بعضها بحنية، للناس الطيبين ورف الحمام. بردا حيفيض ويسقيها وسماها ترجع صفية، بردا حيفيض ويسقيها وسماها ترجع صفية، والحرية تلون بلدي، وضحكات عيون ولاد بلدي، وخطاهم وفقة وغناهم يا شجرة خضار زنر بلدي، وحتعود الشام لا تكون الشام عطر الأيام.
Thank you. Thank you and good evening. اشتقنا للشام. We miss Damascus. Written and composed by the great Syrian composer سميح شقير. Merci. The next song حلوة يا بلدي. My Beautiful Country, composed by بليغ حمدي.
كلمة حلوة وكلمتين حلوة يا بلدي، غنوة حلوة وغنوتين حلوة يا بلدي. أملي دايما كان يا بلدي إني أرجع ليك يا بلدي، وأفضل دايما جنبك على طول. وذكريات كل اللي فات فاكرة يا بلدي، قلبي مليان بحكايات فاكرة يا بلدي. أول حب كان في بلدي مش ممكن أنساه يا بلدي، في أيام زمان قبل الوداع كنا بنقول إن الفراق ده مستحيل، وكل دمعة على الخدين كانت بتسيل، مليانة بأمل إن إحنا نبقى موجودين في بحر الحب على الشطين. واو كلمة حلوة وكلمتين حلوة يا بلدي، غنوة حلوة وغنوتين حلوة يا بلدي. فين حبيبي القلب يا بلدي كان بعد عني يا بلدي، وكل ما بغني بفكر فيه. قول يا حبيبي انت سايبني ورايح فين، أجمل لحن ده هنغني احنا الاتنين، يا محلى كلمة بلدي في غنوة بين سطرين. يا ليل يا عين يا عين يا ليل
Thank you. Thank you very much. We miss our friend on the percussion, Youssef Hbeish, because of his accident today. Frederic Folmer on the bass, and Eli Malouf piano. Thank you very much.
And on vocals. And with the beautiful music and sounds of Manal and her band. Thank you so much. Yes, in fact, the percussionist fell over and I think sprained or hurt his arm. So sadly, he's not with us tonight, but the show must go on. And she was phenomenal, wasn't she? Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to introduce the 2022 UNHCR Nansen Refugee Global Winner, former First Chancellor of Germany, Dr. Angela Merkel. We honor her presence here tonight. First, with a video recognizing her and the German people's contribution when it came to protecting millions forced to flee.
In 2015, 1 million people made perilous journeys by land and sea into the European Union, fleeing war, persecution, and human rights abuses.
Jeder Mensch, der politisch verfolgt ist oder der vor Bürgerkrieg fliehen muss, ein Recht auf eine faire Behandlung, auf ein Asylverfahren hat oder auf eine Anerkennung als Bürgerkriegsflüchtling. Wir haben eine riesige Herausforderung, die wir nur bewältigen können, wenn wir den gemeinsamen Willen haben, wenn wir aber auch gemeinsam neue Wege gehen.
As Federal Chancellor of Germany, Dr. Angela Merkel mobilized and led the response that provided safety to hundreds of thousands of Syrian and refugees of other nationalities in Germany.
Ich bin überzeugt, richtig angepackt ist auch die heutige große Aufgabe des Zuzugs und der Integration so vieler Menschen eine Chance von morgen.
Germans opened their homes. Families like Kyra's generously welcomed refugees. They invited Kinan, a Syrian refugee, to live with them in Berlin.
Kam mit seinem Täschchen und dann sind wir nach Hause gefahren. Er konnte kein Wort Deutsch, wir konnten kein Arabisch. Das ist schon irgendwie wie ein 5. Kind. Ja, doch, wir haben ihn echt lieb. Wir mögen ihn sehr.
هذا الشيء صار مثل ثقافة جديدة وفاتت على حياته وكتير حلوة.
Under Chancellor Merkel's leadership, Germany adopted policies and launched initiatives to help refugees integrate into German society, learn the language, and find jobs, including in some of the world's biggest companies. There were and continue to be many challenges, but around half are now employed, meeting the demand for skilled labor and integration.
Arbeiten hier bei VW am ersten Jahr war nicht so einfach. Seitdem ich in Deutschland bin, denke ich immer positiv.
Ich arbeite nicht nur für mich, sondern für meine Familie, für meine Eltern, für mein Kind. Ja, es ist auch wichtig für meine Familie. Die sind stolz auf mich.
More than 2 million refugees and asylum seekers live in Germany, making it one of the biggest host countries in Europe. As global displacement hits new highs, with over 100 million people forced to flee worldwide, Germany remains a role model in refugee protection and integration.
Ebenso steht völlig außer Frage, dass unser Land schon so viele große Herausforderungen gemeistert hat und noch immer an ihnen gewachsen ist. Es kommt darauf an, auch in Zukunft ein Land sein zu wollen, in dem wir selbstbewusst und frei, mitmenschlich und weltoffen sind.
For her courage and compassion, for upholding the highest humanitarian values, for standing up for international law, for rallying her country to the cause of protecting people forced to flee, Dr. Angela Merkel is the winner of the 2022 UNHCR Nansen Refugee Award.
I would like to welcome once again the head of the UN Refugee Agency, Mr. Filippo Grandi, to congratulate the former federal chancellor for Germany, Dr. Angela Merkel.
Good evening. I want to speak about vision, courage, and fortitude. Three qualities I think we all agree are needed by a leader. Fridtjof Nansen, we heard about him earlier. He gives the name to this medal, to this award. I think Fridtjof Nansen would be proud that today our laureate, or the winner of the Global Nansen Award, shares these three qualities and much more. Dr. Merkel, I hope you don't mind if I say that it is almost legendary that Chancellor Merkel would see a crisis, would know that this would be a challenge, but always sought solutions by unpacking the crisis, by addressing it head on. And you did it, as we all witnessed. As I was very privileged to witness, we did it, you did it, when people knocked at Germany's door in such large numbers as we have seen. And those were people, most of them at least, whose safety and whose protection did not depend on them, but at that moment depended on others. And to achieve this, and many other things, but to achieve this, which is what we're looking at tonight, you demonstrated indeed vision, courage, and fortitude. And you demonstrated a moral compass which not only guided your work and the actions of your country, but it showed the way for so many of us in Europe and in the world. I, in a little way, witnessed that personally. I was privileged, as I said, to interact with you during some very difficult situations. First of all, and first and foremost, as we have seen, the arrivals of hundreds of thousands, Syrian and other refugees in 2015 and 16, with Germany as their main destination. And Chancellor, I will never forget when you called me. I had just taken up my work, and you asked me very, very concrete questions about what had to be done. And I was so worried that I didn't answer properly, but then I understood how determined you were to unpack that crisis and make possible a response. And later, of course, I was privileged also to interact with you in tackling crises in different places. And every time I, like many others, gained wisdom and direction as you strive to find solutions. So many times I thought, why didn't I think of that? This combination of qualities are so needed in leaders today, especially today, in a world so full of divisions, in a world in which, as we have heard, as we all know, 100 million people have been forced to flee their homes, in a world in which refugees, migrants are so often vilified, marginalized, cast aside, in a world in which so many, including so many leaders, tell us all the time it cannot be done. You stood up to those who said so and who said it couldn't be done. And those were the same who said that borders had to be closed and people had to be pushed back. And as far as I can see from where I sit, you always did it as it should be done, based on firm principles, but also a very practical approach, which is what we always tell leaders to do: be principled and be practical. Most importantly, you did not say it must be done, but you always thought that it could be done. This was a huge contribution to the work in support of refugees that many of us do, and to the refugees and the displaced people themselves. Look at hundreds of thousands of Syrian refugees, many of whom in Germany today are on their path towards integrations and have started already contributing back to German society. And I also wish to add that all of this, and we witnessed that as well, was not just about Germany, because you knew, like we knew, that most refugees are in other countries, very often, almost always, in poorer countries with less resources. But thanks to you, Chancellor Merkel, Germany increased its resettlement programs and, even more than before, became a global humanitarian leader. I'm aware, as we all are, that it was not always easy. In fact, it was very challenging at times to do all this. But it never deterred you. It never discouraged you. And actually, it encouraged us not to be deterred. And that encouragement has stayed with us and continues. For this reason, your example is and must be an example to other leaders. In this time, in this era of often choosing the easier path, often not the most courageous one, often not the principal one, but I'm sure that you know very well, as we know, that often the principal path is not only right, but it is also the one that has the highest likelihood of success, the one that can bring to solutions better than many other unprincipled solutions. It is therefore my great honor, my privilege, to recognize for her leadership, her courage, her compassion, her positive, principled influence in Europe and in the world, as this year's Nansen Refugee Award winner, the former Federal Chancellor of Germany, Dr. Angela Merkel.
German, so take your headsets that you can understand me. Aha. Okay.
Mr. High Commissioner Filippo Grandi, Barbara Hendricks, Excellencies, co-laureates, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for me to be with you here in Geneva this evening, and I'm delighted about the award of the Nansen Refugee Award to me. I believe this is a great honor. Nansen did excellent service to refugees and displaced persons many years ago and was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. In my youth, I knew about Nansen for his exploration in Greenland, but that was not enough for him. He was not just a natural explorer, but also a humanist. He founded the Refugee Organization of the League of Nations, and in December 1950, the UN General Assembly decided to establish the United Nations Office of the High Commissioner for Refugees. Originally, it was to exist for only 3 years, but the number of refugees and IDPs increased over the years. Only in 2004 did UNHCR receive an indefinite mandate, indefinite in time. As we have heard, at the end of 2021, more than 89 million refugees, and there were more than 89 million IDPs and refugees in the world. And that figure has now risen to more than 1 million in the wake of the conflict in Ukraine. This means that more than 1% of the global population consists of refugees and IDPs. In view of the increasing number of refugees, we can say that this is an expression of the increasing number of countries that are affected by conflict. That number has doubled. And another terrible figure, 40% of the refugees are children. In this year alone, the Ukraine conflict has given rise to 13 million Ukrainian refugees. They've left their countries and have sought refuge in European countries, inter alia in Germany. The fact that I can speak to you as laureate of this prize is due to the fact that Germany received many refugees from the Middle East, in particular Syria, starting in 2014 and then in 2015. Many of them came to Germany. This meant that my country and other European countries faced enormous challenges. Germany, of course, has signed the 1951 Convention, but Article 1 of our basic law recognizes the importance of human dignity, which cannot be attacked, and this applies to each and every human being. This gave rise to the principles on which we based ourselves in 2014 and 15, despite a sometimes very controversial social debate. At the beginning of my mandate in 2016, I said, it's not a matter of following those who have cold hearts and who are selfish and want Germany to be only for Germans and who want to exclude others. What is important is in future to be a country which is self-confident and free, which is open to other human beings, which will have pleasure in succeeding, and which can succeed if we do our best. Unquote. And fortunately, many people in Germany did this. From my point of view, this honor, which I have been able to accept this evening, is also an honor for all the people who got to grips with the tasks that we faced in 2015 and who can now say truly that we've made it. So my thanks go first and foremost to all those people. What is important when receiving refugees is what happens on the ground in the towns and cities, and that is why I would like to thank in particular the staff in the town halls and city halls of our towns and cities, who have provided individuals with many services. I would like to thank the Federal Agency of Refugees, who did so much to help receive and integrate the refugees in those years. At that time, the then situation was a great challenge for Germany, but we know that other countries were faced with an even greater challenge. Many refugees wanted to stay not so far away from their native country. That's why Turkey received 3.8 million refugees from the Middle East, and that is why the European Union signed a treaty with Turkey providing financial assistance to refugees. But countries such as Lebanon and Jordan are hosting a very large number of refugees. In Lebanon, the overall situation is extremely tense, and that's why the burden on Lebanon in hosting refugees is much, much greater than that which we faced in Germany. And of course, UNHCR makes an inestimable and invaluable contribution to seeking to solve the refugee problems in the world. Refugees' rights must be respected, and no refugees should be turned back and sent back to their countries in which they face persecution. But lasting solutions must be found for refugees and be encouraged to return to their home countries if it's safe to do so. And resettlement programs must be fostered. Filippo Grandi can rely on nearly 19,000 co-workers, over 90% of whom do their work outside of Geneva. I would like to thank them all very much indeed, from the bottom of my heart. If your work is to succeed, UNHCR has to be able to rely on a reliable financial basis, even though it does not have a fixed budget allocation. Most of the fundings come from our states, but also from companies, foundations, and private individuals. I would like to thank them all, and I would like to say that in 2021, Germany was the second largest donor nation to UNHCR after the United States. In view of the increasing tasks of UNHCR, we must do our utmost to secure UNHCR's financial situation in future, even though the economic situation is becoming more difficult in Europe. UNHCR motivates global initiatives on the ground to improve the situation of refugees and IDPs. That's why this evening 4 regional laureates were awarded. Laureates who do their work impressively in Africa, in Mauritania, in Costa Rica, in Myanmar, in Asia, and in Iraq, in the Middle East. I would like to thank them very much indeed, and I would like to make my prize money available to them to support their work. And I would also like to thank them very much indeed for their work. The German poet Erich Kästner said once, and this sentence has become a slogan in my country: there is nothing good unless one does it. Particularly with regard to refugees, this slogan becomes vital in the truest sense of the word. Nansen has shown how important this slogan is. I hope that the good examples will spread And I hope that more people will in future feel obliged to provide refuge to other people in need.
Die Zahl der weltweiten Konflikte zu verringern.
And I hope that
damit erreicht wird, dass weniger
sensible
Menschen ihre Heimat verlassen.
politics and policies will lead to a situation in the future in which there will be fewer conflicts in the world. Because, as we know, no one leaves their home country frivolously and without careful consideration. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Merkel, for being with us tonight and for your and the German people's contributions to support people forcibly displaced. And in fact, your contribution to the exceptional work of our regional winners as well, that will help them continue the important work that they do. Okay, it's time now to move on to another musical number. What do you say? Yeah, ready? Good, because our final performance, we've got a very special artist. Tusa is a musician and singer who was born in the Democratic Republic of Congo in 2001. Tusa represented Sweden at the grand final of the Eurovision Song Contest with a very, very powerful song called Voices. That is one of two numbers that he will be performing for us tonight. Tusa is also an ambassador for Sweden for UNHCR. Now, please give him a tremendous welcome to the stage. Tusa.
There's fire in the rain, but we'll get up again. 1,000 miles apart, but we'll overcome. I'll never let you down. World is turning us around, but I feel it in my heart. Let's make a brand new start. Can't stop us now, forget the haters. Get up and live and make it matter. There's more to life, so go ahead, sing it out. Can you hear a million voices? They're calling out in the rain. You know we got a million choices, so go get up and let it rain. Can you hear them? A million voices, voices, a million voices, voices, a million voices, voices, a million voices. There's fire in the rain, and I can feel your pain, painting all the scars and the colors of change. Don't let them hold you down, don't let them hold you down. We're shooting like the star you are. Hey, you stop us now, forget the haters. Get up and live and make it matter. There's more to life, so go ahead and sing it out. Can you hear a million voices? They're calling out in the rain. You know we got a million choices, so go get up and let it rain. Can you hear them? A million voices, voices, a million voices, voices, a million voices.
Thank you. No one chooses to become a refugee. War sees no borders. War sees no gender. War sees no age. War don't see mercy. War sees no winners. Make no mistake, in war, there are only victims and losers. And we all know who the real losers are. In a world of victims and losers, at war, let's be the dreamers and the believers.
This one's for the believers and the dreamers
Of peace. My strongest power shines at night. Oh, when there's no other place to hide. Oh, there ain't no mountain standing on my way home. We'll walk the distance if we try. I'm a believer in a way that things change. I'm a believer in a way that things grow. Even if I had a dream of gold, when they tell me I'll never dream again, I'll surrender my love just to know I'll have it all. Even when the times are tough, I keep fighting in the rain, fighting in the rain. Our voices matter more than that. Let's keep the faith and hope alive. I will follow love until we find a way. I'm a believer, so let there be change. I'm a believer, I was born to be brave. Say, even if I had a dream of gold, when they tell me I'll never dream again, I'll surrender my love just to know I'll have it all. Even when the times are tough, I keep fighting in the rain, fighting in the rain. Say, oh, oh, dream of gold, oh, oh, dream of gold, oh no, dream of gold, dream of gold, oh, oh, dream of gold, oh no, dream of gold, oh, oh, dream of gold, dream of gold. Even if I had a dream of gold, when they're telling me I'll never dream again, I'll surrender my love just to know I'll have it all. Dream of gold, dream of gold, dream of gold. Even if I had a dream of gold, dream again, I won't surrender my love, but I know I'll have it all. Even when the times are tough, I keep fighting in the rain, fighting in the rain. Oh, oh,
It was amazing, wasn't it? I don't need to say much, do I? Absolutely fantastic. Tusa, thank you so much for sharing your music with us. And sadly, really bringing us near the close of this ceremony. If you have been moved tonight by the people that you have met, by the stories that you've seen, the images that we have shared, please, if you'd like to help, visit the UNHCR Nansen Refugee Award website, unhcr.org/Nansen. You can also see more of the stories of previous and current winners of the award. Now, it has been my absolute pleasure to take you on this journey and bring you to the end. It's been a joy to be here sharing this experience with you, and I hope that, like me, you have been inspired by the winners and their outstanding work. Congratulations once again to Dr. Angela Merkel and all of the regional winners that we have had. Let's give them a final round of applause. We would like also to thank all of the support that we've had from our donors, the Swiss government, the State Council of the Republic and Canton of Geneva, the Administrative Council of the City of Geneva, and the Government of Norway and the IKEA Foundation. To our audiences all over the world on the live stream, thank you for being with us. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you may be in the world.